Okay, we are live. We are live. Fambulem, I bring warm and massive greetings to Una from the TNN TV media empire. Me where they talk to Una today, na the 18th of March 2023. I'm in Prince Emil Kroma. Every day we get serious issues then for discuss, which is about a country, we country. And these things the way we dey talk about, not to things the way we can take or take lightly. This is about shaping the future of we country. It is about we within now. We not the adults then supposedly in the room. What do we want for we country? And it might not likely be for us, but as a matter of legacy, whether you are actively involved in politics or in some other field of discipline, what do we want for we country? The questions sound a bit broad and a bit difficult, but not really difficult at all because everybody waiting they really want for their country is all about the good things. And it is in this light that one of the good things them we recently get in our country, where we want to talk about tonight is about the Sierra Leone International Airport, or called the Freetown International Airport. The reason why I say we want all the good thing, which is a statement of fact, not to opinion, as human beings, this is what we want, this is what we desire, these are the goals that we work towards. Then when it happened, it not mean say we cannot ask questions of them things there, where even though not then we want, and the goodness of them now we want, it not mean say we can't ask questions of them. Because after all, it is our business for ask questions about them one them we're responsible for the state of affairs. This not a civic responsibility. This not a constitutional duty. Today, the 18th of March, once more 2023, in a Prince Emil Kroma, they come to Una with this particular critical analysis on a professional basis on whether the airport has constructed recently. You remember I said the argument in the refurbished, extension, upgrade, and some people went on to say new. Of course, we live in the age of alternative reality. So all of that will be there for factor. Is it new? But we now know say not new because even the president in the opening remarks say no, this is not new. But then a whooping sum amounting to over 270 million was spent. So we want to do a critical analysis on this today based on relative proper research. So I tell Una, I ask Una rather, if you will please help for share this, because this should be of concern to many, many Sierra Leoneans. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, we look for people and we go disagree, but disagree on which basis? Emotion, sentiment. Una not touch that dial, because once more, this is not the TNN TV media empire. Usai will factor all the equation them and come to a conclusion when you get for make the decision. Stay tuned. Okay, once more, Fambulem, a massive welcome to Una all, to the TNN TV media empire. Who say we need to mince with words, who say we're not beholden to anybody, neither any particular organization. What thing we say here in behalf of the state and the general body of the country, which I refer to as the people. This is within our business in terms of broadcasting for the last or past several years. And what we can try for doing at this platform and for critically analyze, critically look at things then where they happen in our country, whether if they are development, the duty as far as we concern is that everybody should be of concern about whether you dey for or against. And when development can at the country, as good as it may be, it is not a bad thing for let we do a cost and benefit analysis, because in this life, in this world, in politics, in a country, it is everything about cost. You can take them from an individual point of view to the family, to the society, the organization, that when you go buy something, you dey try for buy something of value. In other words, if you commensurate the thing where you dey buy with the cost, this is just a statement of fact. It is on this basis, ladies and gentlemen, that we really want to take a deep dive. I don't know how deep is the dive tonight in terms of the Freetown International Airport, which became a controversial issue. It's supposedly for be, or it is an airport where they know the country, and which supposed for serve the benefit to the benefit of the nation in many respects, whether not fly, they fly for go in there, you use them for fly out, or whether the revenue where the airports they generate is of some benefit to the nation, because that can use for develop other things them as well. But that not means questions should not be asked whether this particular item is value for money. And this is what we want to look at. So, ladies and gentlemen, not too long ago, let me not forget this, not too long ago, I repeat, a very much controversial issue ensued in our country. And the program we will do tonight, we will do them within the backdrop. Say there was another project called airport. So the airport project is not new in the sense that we don't expect some new airport project then from the old government and then the new government. An airport project wasn't part of the new government. It wasn't. Normally, things that when the government they can't do, it can then at the manifesto. And from that point of view, then we can make judgments. Say, well, these are our expectations, because before you the kind of government or before we vote for you for kind of power, this and this and this. Now, so you tell we by your manifesto. So we look forward to you fulfilling this. The airport wasn't part of that project, but the airport was part of a project of the previous government where His Excellency Julius Maada Bio pull na power. Once Julius Maada Bio pull in a power, he scrapped that airport project of the last government, which be amounts to $300 million. $300 million was such a whooping sum. Yeah, but what we do know is an airport was supposed to be constructed from the ground level. In other words, a brand new airport will be supposed to serve as a hub now the region compared to other states them such as Ghana, which is a modern state. So at least we self go begin for compete on that basis day. What we can understand is there was too much corruption surrounding this new airport. Can you imagine? This is not what we want to talk about today, but we just make a comparative analysis briefly. And we want to let people and keep this now the background of their mind. Say, airport, not new. The one way President Bio built, it's not new. But for the same amount, if not a little bit more, 300 million, we be supposed to get an airport from scratch. And around that airport day from scratch was supposed to develop a new city, which be very, very significant and important by many respects. That to this day, Sierra Leoneans are asking, why was it scrapped? Other than, some flimsy excuses given as to, well, there too much corruption, people let me don't go buy land all in the area, which may be true, but that in itself cannot warrant you for scrap a project which would have been of immense benefit to the nation. Because why do I say this? We can go back, government get the power for do so. Look back at them people and we buy land them around this new airport and scrutinize them. How open, how transparent was the process of acquiring land? Did people then go through the process? Was it justifiable? Was it open? Many things. So me not buy that excuse. They say people let me don't buy land all around the place. Now it make you scrap an airport project which cost 300 million, which will have helped for ease the congestion in the city of Freetown, which is so badly congested that the services, basic services for the people can no longer work. What do I mean by this? The electricity we will suffer with cannot work because when the facilities the way we use were built, they were built on the basis of a certain number of people, and over a period of time, there was a projection as to how the population will have grown. And then therefore we can extend the facility, but everything where you extend, you get limitation. But we own is so, is so balloon out of size and so quick a time that we were unable and still unable to cope. So all temoti would depend on patch, whether na electricity and the propaganda na boku around this, when they go put one substation yonder, where president go visit and light come for that period of time, all lights day. When the president leave, the light fall around. When holiday come, like then Christmas, then when JC, then they go home for holidays. Then of course, suddenly they find a way for generate electricity for a 24-hour or close to 24-hour period. But this thing is not sustainable because as then they left, and so the electricity they wind down. And I keep they ask myself why. But back to the thing, pardon me for the digression. Back to the conversation is 300 million had been negotiated. New airport supposed for rise up, reduce the poverty level inside Freetown, the congestion level inside Freetown, and the new airport now will begin a new city. We go attract people away from Freetown, which was congested, and then we get a new city there, and probably Freetown becomes something like the Lagos, which is some business or economic capital, and then this new city beginning with the airport and everything around this periphery will have been a new city known as the political capital, if you like, just like Abuja and Lagos. Unfortunately, this was not to happen because government changed hands, and when government changed hands, they scrapped that project there. But the interesting thing is, suddenly there was a new airport project. When I say new airport project, I not say new airport. I mean new airport project, which is let me get my mama, and my mama scrapped by the new government. Now the new government embarked on the new Freetown International Airport, which for a while became controversial and still controversial to this day, whether it be refurbished, whether an upgrade, or whichever way you want for call them. However, in the end, it became a project where sit down at the country day, where Sierra Leoneans are now using in and out of the country, including our foreign friends who visit us in and out day and day, week and week. But here is the thing. Whilst we are joyous and one congratulate the government, for building this airport or extending this airport for cope with what is to come, I will simply say this, that it is now a duty for also ask them critical question as to how the cost is commensurate to the benefit. Very important. And not only me supposed for to do this, we journalists in the country, and we know say we can say we get few investigative journalists them. It is their duty for scrutinize and hold power to account, ask these critical questions. And some of them are very good, let's admit that. A few of them I do admire, but not a way you call officials from the government. And sometimes you organize a panel, both pro and con, and then you think, say, you don't do the nation a duty. No, you should go beyond that. Because when you pair them people there together, both pro and con, what do you take from there? What do you take from there? What do you do with them? Did you go forward for use them for investigate and come out with something for tell the Sierra Leonean people? I haven't seen that much yet. So anyway, we with the blog, we go continue for do this perhaps because we're outside. So generally, we are able to do this kind of thing. So anyway, when the airport, finally open, we see Sierra Leoneans of all persuasion, then jump na street and begin for jubilate. Jubilation for a good cause because there is a structure called an airport, and much of the fanfare around this airport, a lot of people get carried away. Therefore, understand, say, we are a highly emotional people, especially lately after the war. Prior to the war, I would tell you this, that we were rational, and I'm not saying that we are not rational now, but anything we've been to do then prior to the war, we've been to think before we act. This include we parents them, and this include adults, but a lot has changed, and probably it is because our nation or the people of the nation now a traumatized people. So mostly the reactions are either based on sentiment, emotion, or just basically knee-jerk. So yes, the propaganda go on and on, the machine go on and on and on about new airport. New airport was trumpeted for many, many months. And to a point where people they come for believe that, remember the German Nazi propagandist Goebbels, maybe they work for Hitler. He said, just repeat a lie over and over and over. People come for buy into that, then come for believe see the lie is true. That much has been transmitted to modern day where they talk about alternative reality. Now, in the people and all, sort of twist and don't give them a new spin. But that was it then. Now it's alternative reality. Tell people, what they want to hear, or just keep repeating something, and people kind of get for buy in that. So this airport, finally, the presidents go and open and people and come and dance, and they don't dance done, then go home. And then, of course, net come, they come. When they come, people then get for go look for food. They get for go about their daily chores. They get for go to work. 8 million of us. But waiting one bring back to Fambulem is like the money spent on this airport, 270 million and still counting, for which we haven't seen the contract as yet, the agreement as yet. We go help we for put we for allay we fears, or we questions them we have regarding the entire project. Until then, this is what we hold. And what you're about for Telunanaya is carefully detailed. It's a professional detail work on approximately what will have been spent on building this airport, how amount to waiting government they say it amount to, and how they arrive at that figure there, which we don't know because it's a cost and benefit analysis. Before I go forward, I make a mention again, say there was an airport of 300 million, and people really need for keep this at the back of their mind. This now, the context who saw they come off from, there was a 300 million. And you see, this is where sometimes I get into trouble because the emphasis, though it is mine, but on a particular project which belonged to another era, another party, another government. But for me, it not necessarily means I supported that. Of course, I would have, but I will always look at things comparatively. The point here I'm trying to make to Sierra Leonean them is now for members here, 300 million billion, new airport from the scratch, a hub, as opposed to this one. So we need to understand exactly what happened. But before we go into this cost and benefit analysis today, once more, I want, talk to Fambulem. I want to talk to Sierra Leonean people. If you remember, the day when the president opened the airport, on that same day, he and in West, then travel outside of the country, which was almost like testing the airport or being the first couple, first gentleman and the first lady boarded an aircraft after opening the airport and departed for some foreign land, most likely Turkey, Also, again, this controversial figure where they call the people and where they do the airport come from. So they understand. Say there's a lot of business interest. Anyway, the point I was trying to make during the taxiing of the plane of the president and his wife, we notice the aircraft. I don't think so many people have noticed that because sometimes you get for drawing attention, but we get people who are keen on details. When things of that kind they happen, they do follow exactly almost dust rise, the level at which it rised or rose. Forgive me for my English, they float in between Creole and English. And one thing we do know is the president in plane being covered with dust, which is dangerous in many respects, but not to the health and safety side I want to talk about, although I'm really concerned because on board that aircraft was the president of the republic of a country. In this case, my president was on board that aircraft, and the health and safety should be paramount. The point here is airport's not supposed for Ghana, then dust there. Just watch any airport. And when they talk about modern airports, and not after spending 270 million. This is the point, because you can make them quick airports, them especially inside and for small side, you have to go pick diamonds up or side helicopter in the land and what have you. Even though it's supposed to be more decent, but you talk about an international airport, supposed to meet some international standard. So even when you get the runway, both the length and the width, you can understand, say, it is massively paved for avoidance in a day. If you're not paved on all sides, you for stop the dust, you will see, say, grass are either on other side for avoid that. This now one point where we need for to take note at after having spent 270 million. Probably this go sink. It go sink down to people and they're not being noticed that. Okay. This could have affected the engine of the plane. And like I said, the health and safety of the president and the first lady will have been or was compromised. Yeah, was compromised. And this not supposed to be the need for get the highest level of security detail and where protected. Okay. So let me move on after having said that. And una bear in mind, we are talking about a $270 million airport. We know say another one been there for 300 million. You can look at both. You can go back and look at a Ghanaian airport, the most recent Ghanaian airport. How much was spent to build that airport in Ghana, which now serves as a hub? Remember, most of we who they travel home or other places, we can transit to Morocco, where, of course, the duty of care is lacking. There's no respect for us. I flew with Air Morocco a few times, and I saw the services. I saw the disrespect towards me and people that will look like me. And for a long, long time, I told myself, never will I ride this plane again. Because sometimes again, you see the thing I begin this program with. When you spend your money, now cost and value, you dey pay you money because you dey expect services commensurate with the kind of money where you dey pay. So if you go ride first class, you dey pay for that first class day. But that first class day services go more than an economic class, okay, because you pay less for the economic class. But if you pay for the first class, you expect a first class service. So nobody get that with Air Morocco and disrespectful, because again will be one save money and forget about other airline. 50 pound, 100 pound, 200 pound. What I know now for many years, I'd rather pay that extra day and get me dignity and respect and fly the right airline than I go cut corners just for say 50 and 100 and my baggage not come on time. I can't ask question. When I ask question, I'm disrespected. But back again, I go do a bit of digression here and there, but all factor into this conversation here tonight. And we are coming, the story is just being developed, and I premise this and the context that's been set right now. And the reason why we're doing this, we want for the Fambulem be a part and parcel of the program and understand step by step what actually happened, waiting to happen, and what will happen in 25 years' time after we don't pawn this airport to other people that we supposedly spend the money. But the question here was the money mentioned spent, 270 million. If it not been spent, then they talk about the cost because of course there's a structure. Then how the money pass? Who do I go to? See, sometimes the way they do your executive summary, if you write your thesis, most people go feel say it can't last. Or waiting it can't last and it can't force. So your executive summary can't force. Anyway, waiting this conversation here tonight, and in fact, I consider for be a report, is going to try for proof to Salon people them is the money or the investment of 270 million after we will have broken down almost everything else for sure. They talk about cost of material and approximate costs, but in some cases we go show the figures and how we get the figures. In fact, I will demonstrate to you guys the graph. I will show places of where items potentially could have been bought. If they buy on the other side, there will be question marks around that, because we know saying at this side, almost all man they buy, because you go buy back again now for profit. So if you get on some side cheap, you go buy day. And if you want to talk about quality also day. And this is where most people, if not all, go buy from. So who side this money go? So the best estimate made in this particular program here tonight, now through an analysis, that we dare, and listen again, through an analysis, we therefore say that the airport it not cost more than $40 million. This project it not cost more than $40 million. Well, of course, having said this, a lot of people then go put their hand at the aid, because even if you don't want for, if you want for agree with me, just looking at the sum spent, 270 million, and if you divide 40 by 270, that are almost 6 times the amount. How possible could that be? And when they talk about a massive project such as an airport, and this guy they talk about, well, with the things say not even up to 40 million was spent. But family, I just need for follow me, because in the end, after we don't broke down all of this, una go see say waiting we actually propose in terms of waiting we think say approximately was spent. We do with due diligence. The one that we compile the report. Now, professional people them, and we go try for make sure say una see through the report on self, so that waiting with the say now, because this is huge. That not up to 40 million was spent, but these numbers were double just for kill some doubts and allay some fears. Say, 40 million, that's more money than you for airport. But then a cost analysis will be provided. And even when the money is double, we amount to 70 to 80 million potentially that could have been spent, leaving a balance of something like in the tune of almost 200 million. 200 million. Where is it? Now let's go deeper. Let's do some deep dive into this. The report also the make una for understand say a cost and benefit analysis of the project, a detailed one, then do one was done. Okay, it was done, and the reason we make a detail, we need for bear this in mind as well, is because the merits and the demerits, the pros and the cons, the plus and the minuses, the advantages and the disadvantages, if no more, were factored, were considered. So not only they come from a one-sided point of view. This is what professionals do. This is what was done undertaking this particular project that I am talking about here tonight. And again, Fambulem, for build, for recover the capital, plus the margin where they get for profit. And then for hand back to we. Now the project now they talk about so for hand back to we after 25 years, because it's almost like this is what we pledged the airport for. And this is what we want for boast about, say, well, we'll not spend your money, but now the people in Canada, they spend their own money, And when they don't spend their own money, we agree on 25 years. Even that day we go broken down and una go see how much the country will be losing and why they're losing that. And whether the deal was a good deal, is a good deal, or if there was no better deal. All this bearing in mind that there was an airport not long ago negotiated after years called Mama, 300 million lying down in the bank. Now, the new government, and then they can't decide whether they will use them or not. In fact, so powerful were they for make the decision that the decision where they make was to scrap it. Up to this day, apart from XYZ, we've not been told anything concrete as to why it was actually scrapped, only on the basis that there was too much corruption. But Namide in charge now, I can renegotiate the deal with the Chinese bank. And I think why you bought Lily bit how it was carefully negotiated. Because it took this long, because normally the Chinese, almost like what happened on this deal, but this one looks worse than the other. Then try for hijack the deal that their own bank then go finance them so that the interest rate over a period of time become too high. Government of Salon said no. And so a delay for quite a while. But in the end, there was an agreement, and the agreement favored both sides. Now with this one, 270 million, hand over the airport after 25 years. Was it not better? Let's do some hypotheticals. Was it not better for let you take a loan? Or are you not loan worthy? Are you not credit worthy? But even if you're not loan worthy or credit worthy, how could you go to that extreme about 25 years where, in we opinion, according to the report, it runs counterproductive to the country? Counterproductive to the country. That after 25 years, when we go break down and see how much Suma Brothers go make, as opposed to if you go take a loan, that you were able to pay that loan day back in a short period of time with much more lower interest, bearing in mind also that you being also get an airport project signed, deal done, and that you they can't decide waiting for do, but yet you decide for scrap that and go for this. Waiting there behind this. Why was it? Why is it? One of the issues that we will raise this particular topic is it is prevalent upon us. Those of us who feel say we know ABC, or we get the opportunity or opportuned for the media, whether na blog with the blog, whether na conventional media now with the run, but we know say the obligation of the fourth estate now for hold power to account. And for ask the questions, then with those without the voice for ask the question, one for ask, but they not get a voice and ask that question they in them behalf. Are we doing this? I don't think very many of us are doing this because of competing interests, personal interests, and etc. Such is the issue here with this airport. We're not able to scrutinize them with journalists, them investigative as they may be. None of them haven't done a deep dive. Yes, we can get a sound by them, and we can get programs them on with national TV stations and radio stations, which is more comical in my opinion. And I don't mean for ridiculous journalists. I'm not talking about the journalists. I'm talking about the officials, the way that they bring up. The other one they can't defend, and then the other one, you know, that's what I'm talking about. But my expectation of these journalists is to dive deeper, ask more sincere, and be more demanding in terms of answers where they look for. And if you are cloaked or armed with information, try use that information there to the advantage of the Sierra Leonean people. This is such a good story. 270 million spent on airport. How was it spent? I mean, there's a lot of disagreement, and it depends on whose part of the country you come off from. Which party do you belong to? Well, the press people are supposed to be neutral. Of course, they get the editorial. Editorials can favor left, right, red, green, and things like that. But the country should be on top of all of this. So we on duty now for make sure say we people then get a hard fact, and that when they make decisions, then decisions get for be on an informed basis. Then choices get for be on an informed basis. This is why at the end of this particular report, we go attempt for make recommendations, or probably do some abstract in which people deduce, adduce, then can extrapolate within they want from within we are saying. You see, Famulem, the thing where we think say the total investment na in, we want for the Famulem take into account the best estimates and a group of quantity independent surveyor between the United Kingdom and the United States. They don't match the best estimate them, and this is not the study we have been talk about. That we're not just they come out whimsically for can't talk because we want for just be critical about our government, or we just supposed for join the group and be happy and say, oh, we get an airport, yeah, so therefore let's move on. And really, really, with the every people when they say this, it doesn't really matter. As long as we get an airport, it's tangible, it's physical, we can touch them, we can fly through them, and we self get carousel, we get a passenger, how you call and lift, and we get escalator. Come on, man. What is there to complain about? Really? Really? I fundamentally disagree. Also, when they spend government money, also the people they spend the people their money. The people need to know exactly how much money is being spent. Why is it being spent? Could there have been a better choice of deal? Are there people who profited out of this at the expense of the Sierra Leonean people? This is why it is important to be transparent and to be accountable. And let's not forget when Marabio come to power, this is now one of the key things that we promise: transparency and accountability. And he was hugely supported when he began to go after the other whom he had just overthrown. 4.5 years on, it seemed like there's something else, but we are coming. So let's take an estimated cost and analysis for the new Freetown, the new, in inverted commas, Freetown International Airport. And let's see whether I'm able to share my screen with Una Family. I want to just hold on right there. This is important because I want for this be a togetherness, because that's what it's supposed to be. We for grab together, we for dong together. Let me share my screen with Una so Una see exactly what they talk about. Yeah, Family. If Una can just bear with me. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Okay, now just bear with me. Right, let me share the screen one, slide one. Yeah, okay, I shall say when they see this. Yeah, I shall say when they see this. So this is the table, and I want for let we follow. And in the meantime, come on now, when I let we share. I think there are about 40 or 50 of us on Facebook they watch, and then we get another, I think 50 or so they watch on YouTube. But we can multiply these numbers. These things are serious. We get everybody to watch. Let's not pretend. This concerns every one of us. So the estimated cost and analysis for the new Freetown Airport based on this table, what they show us. So now we can follow briefly. So this cost analysis is done in US dollar. Okay. So with the assume say the cost for land is free. Suma brothers not pay penny, shishi, and not pay for them. Why again? Of course, this not the country where they can build the apartment, so it not be necessary for factor than the inside as cost. So now free. Imagine land don't turn free. So now we give Suma brother the land. I don't know whether now we give ourselves the land, but anyway, now they can build the airport. Now they're responsible for the airport now until in 25 years' time. So therefore, we can say the land we give them until 25 after 25 years when we shall have owned the airport. For now, the airport is a lend-lease agreement, if you like. I don't know if you know whether I describe it in the right way, but it's the deal, a good deal. And this is the case that we are trying to make here tonight. Cost for Stone and Sansan, una know say Salone, we are massively blessed with some stone than way the rest of the world want. The rest of the stone than way the world want. Granite, this stone, that stone, to a point where part of we export now, even though it's not been made public, because it benefits a few, now stone. Chinese man, then they can buy stone. Other country, then they can buy with stone. We get then granite stone, the way then they use for buildings, then we can take 200-300 years, it team up. That's the kind of stone that we get. Then they can then cut and then shape them because they get modern machinery. You know, we can ship them and then pack them a ship and take them away. So obviously we are blessed with that. And everybody know about with beaches. Now, one of the things then where we can bluff with, we get fine sand. Fine sand. So two major things that we then need, or the three major things that we then need for begin the airport in the first place, we now the sand, now the stone, and the land, they not pay shishi for them. Harara. No. Until we see the agreement, the cost, for sure say land was paid for. Land was paid for. Of course, we will see all the deeds. Until we see stone and sand was paid for. All the receipts. For now, we hold on to this view, say they not pay a penny for that thing there. Cost for transporting stone. This is where the cost begin now. Outside and begin actually they spend money. For transport stone and sand. And let remember say these are approximate costs, but costed on a professional basis by professional people, and we know exactly what they are doing. We know what they are doing. So this is $1 million. $1 million for the cost for transport stone and sand. Inside it, they also factor fuel, and this 1 million, the factor fuel and the wear and tear of them vehicles them where they transport the essential item there for the construction of this airport. Shipping cost to bring materials used into Sierra Leone. I hope so now they follow the table. This is no secret. We want for let this program be interactive, and there is more of this to be shown. Shipping cost for bring the material, then we didn't get for use the one they will not get. Remember, say we get stone and sand and one have you, so that they are free, plus the land are free. The only thing we was paid for, assumably, and if it were paid for, you see the cost the $1 million. Then a fuel, and then the cost for the motorcar where they transport and thing and they for wear and tear, just in case anything will happen. Of course, go can the tire they eat up, the motorcar itself they eat up over a period of time. So you pay for that, you factor them inside the cost. So the shipping cost for materials, them we not get a saloon, we don't get for use for build the airport. We probably not then steel beam, then iron them, then the roof, any material we will not get at home. So for bring them come, so when a ship now get for bring them come, obviously we talk about 100 container. 100 container. And we say one container, we price them at 10,000 per container. And this now a reasonable cost. And the reason why I say reasonable cost is we want for belief say these were all done free of charge. Free of charge. And this is part of the deal, Fambulem. This is why we need for listen keenly. But just for allay the fears, the Thomases, the doubting Thomases, we say 10,000 per container. I mean, this is fair enough. We don't say container cost way past this. I used to ship containers before. Yeah, I used to be in the business. So I know almost them in the chapel down Nawataki. Millions. Yeah. But if you convert 10,000, remember I said this is not $10,000 now they talk about. If you convert them, That again is being very, very generous because 10,000, I don't know what's at the present rate, but it go amount to the kind of money we then go charge people them for sheep. And these are the benefit of the doubt because in this kind of deal, we suspect say either now free for bring them container and they like we NGO then they bring container, then charity organization. Now free, now in the brand come. God, this is what governments kind of do. So even if government was to charge them people there per container, it wouldn't be the normal price. There would have been some discounted rate because while two they do business together, in which would expect a win-win, and you the benefit, me the benefit. I hope say we get that from them. We also look at custom for clear container. We also believe say government waive the custom. Government waive the custom. And if we go back to the 10,000 for the shipping cost, the reason why I say that was almost free, we they assume saying a government na in pay for that day. But let's be fair enough, because you ship them goods then they into the country, then you go get for pay for them because you use a foreign ship. So we'll put it 10,000 day, $10,000 per container. And we talk about 100 containers because we don't factor the amount of materials that were brought into the country for use for that building day. And this not a magic. You know, say for build the building, you get engineers where they draw plans, where they tell you meter by meter, feet by feet, inch by inch, what will be used, how they will be used, and the quantity. This is where the quantity survey come in. It's a profession. Then just come back again quickly to what we call customs. This is where I believe, and what I talked earlier on now about how you call them, NGOs. And this is where they get a waiver by the Sierra Leone government because this is about Sierra Leone government business. So you can see 0 day. So please don't get it twisted. When I talk about the containers, 100 containers at a cost of 10,000 per container, where I say waived. No, not waived. When they bring the material, then we will not get a saloon. I just don't correct that. Because I know say some years them, the critical one them. We're not getting no good mind. One for say, well, you see, not point into all the good things and constructive things that we're saying. Yeah. So anyway, let us not belabor on that. That's sorted. And the waiver by Sierra Leone government, then a custom. Sierra Leone government can waive that. And we're supposed to then waive that and not charge the company. Customs for clear equipment, machines, and vehicles. Now, waive than the government, the waiver. Cost of all fixtures and fittings. Una go sabi, those of una we don't build house before, or we don't be contractors for build house, when they talk about fixtures and fittings, that means the house done. What's it done? That skeleton day, they don't cover, window they don't day. So you talk about for put tile, for paint, for put timber under, the wooden floor them, the domot them, the window them, the lighting them, the table them, the chair them. So fittings and fixtures, and I will add furnitures. Okay, that it don't cost roughly about 6 million. We are certain that the Suma Group will be able to provide. The Suma Group will be able to provide the original copy. Obviously, everything I say, this is the question that we ask. For now, these are our estimates. Yeah, these are our estimates. So we talk about cement for make blocks. So when I can see, we get almost 2.5 million. And remember, say this cost now in dollar. Let not forget, all this costing is in dollars. Okay. So the cement for blocks cost almost 2.5 million. So 5,000. I mean, yeah, 5 million blocks are 16 blocks per bag of cement. Total bags don't give you 327,500. Let me just down up to 28. We just want for be specific here. So if you look at waiting, the report show is materials that we use, the retail price used in Sierra Leone, and not a wholesale, then deliberately come up with 150,000 oleons, which amounts to about 7.5 United States dollar per bag. Again, if you've been on bill O's and you know O's, so you kind of conversant with a bag of cement, this is the breakdown. And at the same time, it's a little bit technical in the sense that they use two money in the country. Strange times, isn't it? Strange Sierra Leone nowadays. So two money. So experts have been able for consider and factor all in there, whether na old money and new money, what it go cost, what the item go cost. So cement for laying the blocks, you get 937,500. So if 125,000 bag of cement for lay 5 million blocks, yeah, at 40 blocks, where you lay with one bag of cement, the graph did for let una self they follow. It's not secret. So if the retail price again was used or is being used for a bag of cement, it obviously amounts to about $7.50 per bag. We will be in leons. And remember, I said them don't factor them in leons at the time. But again, with currency, they fluctuate all the time. But 150,000 to the all leons, it amount to $7.50 per bag. Okay. Cement for plastering and flooring, una can see and they another 937,500. And the cost of cement again, of course, at the same cost. And there's an assumption that in this particular case, when they talk about plastering the floor, remember I say the people we all understand the difference between the floor, the inside, and the outside. Plaster in general, outside they eat more cement. Outside you get for plaster more, outside you will spend more cement for plaster more. So there's a general assumption in this case that less plastering was done, as most of the walls are not cement wall. So the same cost again in terms of US dollar. We'll go to iron rod quickly. Iron rod and other iron the way they use on the airport, and the airport of them kind they use many kinds of iron and different types of iron rod. They talk about sizes. Okay, in fact, I think the size can imply the kind of iron rod: 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch. The one that we build, they know this, but it come again at different cost. So you can see roughly at 2,750,000, that amount to about $550 per ton. And if you multiply that by 5,000 tons, then of course that will give you 2,750,000 dollar. That would be the cost for iron rod and other iron them at 5,000 tons. So you multiply them by the cost per ton, which is 550 times 5,000, it give you roughly $2,750,000. You get the computer systems and TV screens. We all go know say when it come to airport, a full of them TV screen them and computer system, modern airports. Well, modern or not, then full of them in there. So the more modern the airport, the more sophisticated the system is. Computer system, IT generally, and then TV screen them for the watch now, TV for see you itinerary and etc. and other information them where they can likely demonstrate now the airport then they on then TV screen then they. So we look at they spend roughly $300,000. That's what will have been spent on computer system. And why? Because you look at a unit, you see each unit it costs something like $1,000, and The assumption here is it cannot be more than 150 units used. And this also include the servers and the softwares. I mean, this is something that you can do general estimate about, like I say. You get professionals where they count almost iron rod where you spend now. Looking at the size of the building, the length of the building, the width of the building, the material used can be determined, and therefore you will also know the cost. So therefore you can cost them. Hence the terminology quantity survey. People go to schools, you don't know universities, and learn all of these things. So that's the reason why. So you look at the size of the airport, when you can determine how many people let me they take. This is, of course, to those of us who don't know, it's more like very complex. To those who know, this is a simple task. So anyway, 150 units assumably was used. And this includes server and software. So that amount to $300,000. Now let we go to baggage carousels. Baggage carousels, we know that thing where they pull the thing come out, we baggage them inside the plane, where then they put another conveyor belt, now in the carousel, where they go round and round, where all man, where you don't come down, you don't go through the process, you go grab your bag. So we all go team up around there as they go round, and then you grab your bag where you see your bag. Carousels, we say $70,000. And this is based on Internet Alibaba. And we get estimate that each one will cost 35,000. How many we get? If we say total cost now $70,000, which means that we get two carousel at the airport. So it's not very big airport per se, So we come back to the money. So 35,000. And remember, say for the first time we mentioned Alibaba on this report, and there will be many times more that we'll mention Alibaba. And in this case, we talk about baggage carousels. So let me take a look from Bulem, or if you did near your computer, you can do a quick breakdown of waiting carousel cost. So you see, a lengthy time was spent trying to get this cost benefit analysis, doing research of some magnitude for make sure we get it right. So let me take a look at another page. We will show you Alibaba, where most of these things will have been bought. Because again, remember from the beginning of this program, we talk something about money value. When you spend your money, you expect value in return. Your money you spent and goods or services rendered or served should be commensurate. Even if you're not commensurate, the gap should not be wide enough. I buy $500 ticket for first class, I'd expect first class treatment. But instead of I get leg space, when one of the reasons why I buy first class ticket, I go get a tight space. That is not right. It's not commensurate with my money and what you tell me about the service. So let's have a quick look and see whether we go find carousels, because these are all the magic words the way they use, where it sound like we will never get through over with this. If you understand what I mean, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take a look at the second one. We'll come back again and put this other screen on board. Let's share another one with you now. And just a quick reminder, we get 110 people they watch live. We get roughly about 43 on Facebook. We'd expect the number to multiply. And YouTube don't become our biggest fan base. Because every time we do it now, it's more of YouTube. And then the videos can run thousands later. We also want to get other side and for watch, but please, with the ask una, this broadcast is so important. Please help for share. Whether you are for or against, I mean, posterity will have to judge us. Yeah, it's not based on sentiment, it's just based on hard fact. Let me share this carousel and show the cost quickly with Fambulem. So una bear with me once more, if you will, please. Bear with me. Okay, let's see whether we can share this again quickly. Let's share this quickly. Okay, there it is. So Fambulem, this tell you actually the work that is being done. There is no malice, no malice at all. This is a group of concerned Sierra Leoneans, them patriotic Sierra Leoneans, them who think that the truth must be told. This is not the site where they call Alibaba, and this now the cost for carousels. You can look now, they get all kind quality carousels, all kind quality. And if you want to talk about Western carousels, you got to remember, say China, now the biggest market, and then they make for the Western side of things. And this is where people shop. You can get value for money. If you want £1 yuan or $1 yuan, you go get them. If you want $10,000 yuan, you will get it. But basically, this is the carousel, that baggage thing where they go round and round, as soon as I can see. So when you look Tete, remember say now length, size, durability, and etc., but you get basic. So you una can see the pictures for yourself. So in between, you can get far more cheaper ones. Let's be honest, far more cheaper ones. But let me look at what it look like, say we get. Look at this one, for example. Roughly between 30 and 50,000. $30 and $50,000. Where's the picture? Roughly $30 and $50,000, and this is it. And this is not a waiting we get. We just try for sure an example quickly, but that's not even waiting we get. Yeah. So let me go back again to carousels and deal with them quickly because we really need to move on. But here are carousels of all kinds, and when I can see the prices, them 30 to 50,000, 50,000. You even get 2,400. Look at this one. 2,400, between 2,004 to 5,000. So this is it. So let's just come back quickly again to the report, Famulem. And I promise when I say this report will go do them into two parts because I don't want to tire people them out. And it's so interesting that what we don't do, we see people and glued to them. And this is something that people then go enjoy. And we don't want to make it too long, in one go. So we'll get for break the report for another day, probably tomorrow, but we'll put the announcement out. But let me just done with this first part of the report quickly. It involved a lot of work. It's not easy to be done, but we are happy that it's been done because why? We feel a sense of duty. We feel a sense of duty. So let's just go back again to what we shaped earlier on. We now the graph for the breakdown. And the graph for the breakdown. Yeah, here we are. Okay. So we may talk about baggage carousels, which I just demonstrate just now. And when I see them, 10,000, 20,000, 35,000. So if we now look at this report, this is where we are. Baggage, highlighter for una. Baggage carousels. And this is not the entire thing. Like what you wanna show, I show una see them for una self. Yeah. So you can get them for 35,000. This again a rough estimate. We can even say 50,000. But in this case, we select the 35,000 one because if una look, okay, I really need for share the screen with una so una go there with me and understand where exactly I am going with this. Una bear with me, please. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen with you guys. This thing we do one together. Jaran one we do one together. Jaran one we do one together. Okay, I think it's been shared now. So now also we did. They talk about baggage carousels. Yeah, Fambulem. So I just show now the Alibaba site. Who said they sell almost all of these things. So if you go there, una see the price for una self. It's 20,000, 10,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. We look at many ones, then they will look exactly like what we get. Remember now, in the absence of receipts and the legal agreement to this airport, we haven't seen it. So they make estimates on the basis of professionalism, cost analysis, and benefit of this airport. So the baggage carousels then cost 35,000 a piece. We get two. So if we now look there, that 2 day will cost we Nothing else but $70,000. Remember, we can even push them further and go for the higher one, 50,000. 50,000. That's such a huge sum. But for a huge project that costs 270 million, we get two, multiply down by two again. Now 100,000. But for the benefit of this report, which was carefully constructed, professionally done, we go keep to them figure there because we believe in these figures. 70,000. Let's take a look at plumbing. Plumbing amounts to 50,000. $50,000. Remember, everything is costed in dollars. And this now again, now an approximate amount. The electrical cables, circuit boards, switches, no, you put them full up with them kind of thing there. Circuit boards, because it's electronics. That's what's being used at the airport. Waiting on the cost. Again, we can go to Alibaba, we can see them things in there. Or we can even go to other sites where you think you trust. And this, if you're really concerned and you want to prove we wrong, don't be hysterical. Try for do your own due diligence. Try for look into what we say today and see whether we've gone wrong, whether we've got it wrong, we are going wrong, or something else. Because we know people can be divisive. But electrical cable, circuit board, switches, and etc., it costs 300,000. Again, another approximate amount. Now, if we factor all of this, and this is not just one table, where we title Table 1A, where the title for Table 1A is Estimated Cost and Analysis for New Freetown, again, new in inverted commas, but estimate New Freetown International Airport. So we don't give another first breakdown there. And that first breakdown, when the calculation is done, it's just close to 17 million. 17 million. But to be exact, again, when I see the figure now, let me see whether I can highlight them. Yeah, this is it down here. And I sure say when I see that, that's $16,801,250. So round them up, 17 million. This is what it is. All of these things name. Just go over them again quickly. Just the names, no complete breakdown. Of course, we agree, say cost for land, now free. We give them the land. Cost for stone and sansan, we give them, because we get them utete. Cost for transporting stone and sansan, 1 million. And cost for transporting or bringing the goods them where we not get NASA loan from abroad for the construction of this airport, we also put them in again at 1 million. And so far and so on. All of these things, shipping costs to bring equipment, machines, and vehicles used in Sierra Leone, customs to clear equipment, machines, and vehicle. In the case of custom, we assume say there was a waiver by the Sierra Leone government. Cost of all fixtures and fittings, furnitures. This include tile, paint, timber, wooden floor, door, window, and lighting, tables, chairs, of course, furnitures generally, fittings, window, domot, blah, 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 fixtures, lights, switches, and you name it. All of that, roughly 2.5 million. And all of these cement for laying the blocks, cement for plastering and flooring, iron rod and other iron them, 5,000 tons, computer systems and TV screens, baggage carousels, plumbing, electrical cables, circuit boards, switches, etc. The total for this, subtotal, is $16,801,000. All of this, bear in mind, in a $270 million airport. Famulem, like I say, this is really interesting. It's really, really interesting. And like I say again, I really don't want to make this long. I want to make a part 2 to this. And we go put the flyer out. This is very important. This is key. This is about the future of our country. And there is more to this. There is more to this. This report is a concrete report done by professionals. Where we don't done for broadcast them, we go publish them. And we go ask Freetown whether there are newspapers that are willing to publish this report. But it will be published. We will publish them at the then and now media, because it's important for Leona also have a copy, a look at this report. And again, there's a lengthy part to be done. I can give you a gist, but I no one for make this a particular one too long and boring. Although interesting, I see people are glued to it. I see the number, yeah, the rise. Now, how you call them now? WhatsApp, no WhatsApp on YouTube. But there is much more to this report. This is not just one of the table where I read to. We get table 1A, now we just deal with. Table 1B, we go announce shortly when we do one. Una keep an eye out for this, because the deeper we dive into this, the more interesting, the more suspect, the more angry I believe some people will become. Because that happiness day, where we all been get, including myself, still happy that we get airport, but the cost is not commensurate to the airport. And this now they try for proof now, and there's much more for let we talk about. Because in the end, we'll talk about the cost and benefit analysis of this new airport. We'll break down everything to you in figures. Not to yap, yap, yap. Everything will be broken down in figures. So there is so much to it. Now, yes, table 1A. We get table 1B, we get table 2, we get table 3, and then we get table 4. Imagine this. So maybe tomorrow, yes, I think tomorrow, probably 5 or 6 o'clock, but we'll now watch out for the flyer. So at least we'll not make this too long. I think we've done an hour and 15 minutes. Let we make them an hour and 30 minutes, not so. We'll not do an hour and 30 minutes. That's fair enough. So an hour and 30 minutes, let's see whether we can cover another table. And this will be table 1B, another interesting one. And now that may make everyone suspend them until tomorrow, because this one back, table 1B, is so interesting. Table 1B encompasses the cost and analysis, as well as table 1A and all the tables them for the Freetown International Airport. Famulem, we get something we call bitumen, that are the asphalt, which we call coal tar. Remember? Coal tar, we then can pave the road with. What we get here is we assume that 4,000. Let me share this screen with you now. This is quite interesting. And like I say again, I want to let the program be interactive, so una see for una self. Just before I go into this, there are many comments, and I know there will be pros and cons. Of course, this is what we're looking for. And on this platform, we can highlight them, because that can help we as well for know what we do, whether we write or how we go about them. We do learn from this, and we know our feedback. And family, I will not forget to help for shape. And when they send greetings and when they make comments, please say where you are calling from, where you they talk from, they watch from. Okay. So let's go to we comment them. Please don't forget to support the platform. Please don't forget to support the platform. You can send me stars. Then start. Remember, everything is cost. And today, na cost now we talk about too. So everything is cost. So meaning they ask for exorbitant contribution. This is not just for help for offset the cost, because information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. We need to get no sponsorship from anyone. We depend on we audience. So you can send we stars, 50p, $1, $2, $3 stars. That help we for underwrite the cost. Thank you very much. G4, welcome TNN, welcome G4. Many thanks. Abu Bakar Masare, watching from Holland. Many thanks. Abu, how you do? I hope all is well. Good evening to you as well, brother. Maureen Lovejoy. Maureen Lovejoy. Wow, it's a beautiful name, and it seemed like the first time I'm seeing this name. But many thanks for watching, Maureen, all the way from the United States of America. I wonder which state is that, Maureen, but please help to spread the good word about TNN in the US, if you will, please. Idris Toure, hello, Mr. Prince. Yeah, hello, Idris. How are you, sir? I hope all is well. Alpha Mamadou Ba. Alpha Mahmoudou Ba. Good evening at TNN Media. Good evening, Alpha. How are you, sir? I hope all is well. Welcome at Fuda Sisi. At Fuda Sisi. Yes, Fuda, how are you? I hope all is well. Many thanks for that. Hassan Jallo, good evening to you. So it's mostly greetings, which we really appreciate. How are you and the family at Fauda Sisisa? Well, the family is doing well. Many thanks for asking, and I hope yours is doing well as well. Alpha Madu, thank you, Abubakar Mansari, huge amount. Wow, yeah, many thanks. Okay, Ahmed Kamara, welcome back, my brother. Your analyses are all making so much sense. Thank you for your patriotic role. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Kamara, for watching. Yeah, I think Ahmed Kamara is from New York or somewhere. I think I've got the name wrong. But many thanks, Mr. Ahmed Kamara. Usman Conte, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Conte. Brother Abubakar Mansare, true brother Prince, tell them. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Maureen Lovejoy, just like Trump. Interesting. Peter Dowda, the Mamama Airport project will have been a bottomless pit of corruption. I mean, Peter, I wish you can make the case for how it will have been a bottomless pit of corruption. And again, when you make them comments, I will advise that you be careful in the sense that you have not substantiated anything other than just made, this, wide body of comments. But the reason why I say you should be careful, even though you're entitled to that, is not to the people that will initiate the Mama project will have come for run the project. It was unfortunate for them that the project fall into a new government who will have been responsible for supervise them, even renegotiate the deal. That's common sense, Peter. Come on. Abubakar Mazare, New Airport. Good evening. Good evening. Mixer the Mixer. Yes, Mixer the Mixer. Good evening to you as well. Well done, Prince. Mixer the Mixer. Many thanks for that. Abubakar Masare. Lunge Airport is standard for that amount. That is what they told us, Prince. Okay. Yeah, and we heard them. NIG, big money. Okay. They look for comment there now. Antonia Davis, another new looking name. But welcome, Antonia. I hope I pronounce your name well. His Excellency has done well. Well, yeah, we're not saying he's not done well. You're right. He's built an airport, but there was also an airport to be built for the same money from scratch, which will have been a hub. But with what we are seeing and trying for custom, this is what we are looking at. Yes, there's an airport. But many thanks for that comment, Antonia. Usman Kamara, Bill and his wife have connived with this company to build the airport with our money and tell us that 6 to 7 times the money spent is the company's, so that for the next 25 years, the company will manage the airport on behalf of Bill and his wife. These people hate Sierra Leone with passion. I'm not sure about the hate, but some of what you said does make sense. 25 years at that cost, who benefits? Who benefits? That's the question. Killing the people. It is sad to see and hear that. Painful, my people. Yeah. Martha Bangura is watching. Martha Bangura, where are you watching from? Many thanks and good evening. Prince, you are doing justice to us. Thanks for that. Thank you, Mr. Mansari. Usman Kamara, remember that cement was not at 150,000 when the project started. Many thanks for that. So I believe, was it below 150,000 or above 150,000? But at the same time, give or take, plus or minus, Mr. Kamara, good observation. But now it make every material used is double costed just for accommodate that plus or minus. But many thanks for that. Okay. Welcome, sorry. Prince, you must say the new airport. Okay, I say the new airport, Mr. Mansari. Peter Dowd, good evening all. Good evening, Peter. Masiri Medley, God, good help us. Good help us. No explanation. Masiri Medley again. Mamama Airport will have been better than this junk to rob our people. Okay. Moses A. Kamara, great work, bravo. Let's get through this quickly and cut through the chase. This government come to mortgage our people on Syrian medley. Okay. So yes, 20 years ago, I agree with Brother Abubakar Mansari. This would have been in deep secrecy. What a shame. I am feeling sad and angry. But even today, a lot of it is in deep secrecy. But we are familiar with some of the things, and God help and bless social media because we are able to come out. And God also helped that we've got very professional people who are very open, very professional in terms of their vocation, and not much that you can hide from us. And this is exactly what we do. We challenge them for come out with the reality and debunk waiting with the sinner, because this is professional. This is costed. Now I make with the share the graph them or the table them with you now. Many thanks for that. True, it is AYVN 98.1. A show coming. Oh my God, may God bless TNN. May God bless TNN. Okay. Many thanks for all your, Maureen Lovejoy, South Carolina, originally Massachusetts. Well, greetings to the other side of the Atlantic. Many thanks for that. Mohammed Toure is watching. My brother, many thanks, Mr. Toure. Thanks for watching. Martha Bangura is watching from London. Many thanks to you all for watching. Like I say, make I just do the second table and then we go suspend the program for another day. Let not make it too long and boring, but this is important. And please share the message, because tomorrow again, most likely will come out. And if we are coming out, we share the flyer, probably the same flyer with a different date or different shape, so it doesn't appear to people we muscle memory, they tell you, say, well, are the same, so you not bother for look. So there might be a slight difference. But many thanks for watching. Let's get back into this report. Let me share that second screen with you now. We want to do table 2. Let's do table 2. Yes, here is table 2. So we'll be talk about bitumen. That are the asphalt, we commonly in our country we call coal tar. So you get 5 million of them. We assume that 4 million square area of bitumen asphalt now in the use for construct the taxi runway. And a taxi runway normally, I think the length of it's about 6,000 feet. It's about 6,000 feet. So that also was factored into the construction of this runway for comeback, for determine, say, this now the quantity that was used for construct the taxi or the runway. And then the paving of other areas. Remember, say we complain about dust now some other area, but all the places then we then pave. The rough estimate, this is what it is. A total of 6,800 meter length times 60 meter average width was paved. So what we established now is like, to every 1 drum of bitumen, and the bitumen, let me not get confused, it just mean coal tar, which was used, or asphalt, which was used, 200 kilogram will cover 320 meter square of pavement. And we assume that 12,500 drums now in the use at a price of $400 per drum. So if now $400 per drum, with all this quantity for make that runway, we price them at 5 million. At 5 million. Not forget this. Keep on your mind. The next one, as soon as I can see, now escalator. This wonderful escalator. Remember when they construct this thing, you get people there when they go, hey, boy, you see the step they move. Hey, escalator. Well, all well and good. I mean, it's ours and one have you. Some part of it may look very munku to me, where some people are going to toilet. I mean, the propaganda became distasteful. Hey, but you see toilet, one day we'll not see. I mean, propaganda of that kind is so distasteful that you just make yourself look rubbish, and the people that you try for propagate for, you just make themselves look rubbish. I don't think therefore don't allow such tips to be released, because that was really, really comical. But anyway, it was done. It didn't have social media. It's on the people that we do. But escalator, we price them at $60,000. That's for 2. Remember, I said we get 2. We go back again now the internet. we look na Alibaba, where I will share with you now shortly. The price for escalator, a range from between 9,000 to 30,000. And if we get two at the airport, from a conservative figure, as one can see inside the table, then 2 times 30, simple mathematics, military mathematics, man. But at least that tells we say now $60,000. And let's share this screen before I come back again to this graph so that we actually see the escalators that we talk about. Similar thing what we do with the carousel. Let's see whether we can share with screen again. Yeah, let's share our screen again. So we see carousel. We don't see carousel now. We can't see escalator and the cost. Escalator and the cost. So what they do now, with the back with statement them with facts, references. So there are no ifs, there are no buts. No ifs, no buts. Okay. I just want to show you a runway quickly, not in picture terms, but just basic Google. Okay, as soon as I can see now the screen again. A runway of at least 6,000 feet in length is usually adequate for aircraft weights below approximately 200,000. This might not sound interesting to you, but we will talk about like 6,000 feet, and then it is taking an aircraft way below 200,000. And 200,000, and not a military runway, where they bring them heavy equipment and they. So at least the runway where we get 6,000 feet and the length. Now, in we do the estimate with so a body bate, the length and the width, and that's what we use for custom. But let me go back again to another slide where I want to share with you now. What will we talk about just now? Now, the wonderful escalator, Donald Trump. The moment I was coming down the escalator, if you now remember that. So let's go into the escalator. Let's go to the escalator. Where's the escalator? Come on now. Yeah. This is what we do at the den now. So, family, as you can see now on our screen, again, this is now Alibaba. Alibaba is almost the equivalent for, not almost, the equivalent for all these online trading shop them, be it Amazon, be it eBay. This is massive. Remember, say the population, the southeast of the world. Yeah. And they talk about Asia, Southeast Asia. So I find the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Indians, and things like that. Now they trade Sidon. And now they other people and they go buy. Anyway, Alibaba, now one of the famous shopping place. This is global, by the way. And you defend anything where you want there. Trust me, anything where you want, it there. So as soon as I can see, these are the escalators them of various shapes, sizes, lengths, and widths. So you get the one that we approximate for shopping centers, stroke airport, and one that went just for private offices and things like that. So let me look one way we think is appropriate for airport. Okay, look like this. This is not residential cost, and escalator residential. I they look for one way now shopping mall and airport because then I go get plenty people them, plenty people them. Elevator commercial. This is now one commercial one. Una see them? Una see them? So commercial go mean it most likely na then train station and then underground station. So it carry thousands and thousands of people. Very durable, very strong. Look at the price. 8,009 to 9,005. Take a look at this one. Okay, this is now for shopping mall. And look at the cost. 25,000, roughly estimate between $15,000 and $25,000. Between $15,000 and $25,000. Look at this. Look at this one. Between $7,000 and $25,000. And they get few more of them varying shape, size, and kind. Look at this one. Highest is 13,000, and so forth and so much. So the one where I don't see most high now 25,000. See, So we get two of them. Goodness me. We have two of them. So let's take the highest one within a winner 25,000 winner for shopping mall, where it can be used for the equivalent of an airport for care baggage. And even long, the one within our airport, we get two of them, not so. I'm not making this up when I don't see we airport. So cost that 2 day at 25,000. I think the report itself is being generous, very, very generous, because it put them at 30,000. So you see, we double cost the item. And once we double cost the item from 30,000, we get two. So it turned to waiting 60,000. 60,000. And they try for share the graph with tonight again. This is a very, very interesting report from Bulem. And like I say, that's something where we go publish, we wanna all go get hands on. There's no more secrets. Not much that you can keep secret. And we need for continue for begin for demand. Continue for demand. For accountability and other things then. So like I've been say, it was established on the internet. Now also we did highlight and for una, so I go follow on the internet on Alibaba. The price per escalator a range from between 9,000 to 30,000, and we have used 30,000 for each, just to be conservative. So that give we 60,000. 60,000. We come to the cost for 1.8 megawatt solar power panel. 1.8 megawatt solar power panel. That come at a cost of $40,000. For every 1.8 megawatt, equal to 1,800,000 watts. And that now something where you can cost at 30 cents US dollar. 30 cents US per watt. So when you multiply down the 1.8 by the 1.8 million, it give you $540,000. That's not the cost. So you come to battery for solar system, you get 1,800,000 watt energy storage container. That may come at a cost of 720,000. So if you get 1.8 megawatt, we equal to 1.8 million watts at 40 cents or so per watt, it gives you 720,000. You get the solar system installation kit, which cost 50,000, and this is an approximate figure. The same is true for the solar system cable circuit boards, which we cost at $200,000, which is also an approximate figure. And then you get the cost for the roof, which is on an approximate basis cost 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 million. So you get the boarding bridge. This is now another one, because this now then thing they show the modernity of the airport, because after all we had an airport, but we raised the level, the standard of the airport, because previously we not been getting the boarding bridge. The boarding bridge now inside that thing where the plane can park, where they can park to the plane, where you know get for what kind of the Colta or Puda can take you for care we go na the terminal. So now you walk through that thing, they straight into the airport. And then you go through the process of immigration and custom, and then you find your way out if you are legit. So what do we see? We get two of them, and then two a day. Then cost boarding bridge cost based on internet research. This is based on 750,000. Okay, so we get two of them. So one of them, based on internet research, it costs 750,000 US dollar per unit, which means that one single one, and we get two. So if we multiply those two by 750, which is the cost per unit, it gives we 1.5 million. The fuel cost for machines and vehicles, okay, during the construction, up, down, yeah, and what have you. It's also put at a cost of 1.6 million. It's also time machine there for go so cancel, make under, come under, all calculated in length, meters, and you name it. It's factored in this report. So on an approximate basis, for the cost for fuel, the machine them and the vehicle them 6 million. We also look at labor for the SUMA staff. SUMA, for those of you who don't know, are the people that we construct the airport, the people that we seed the airport to for 25 years after they spent $270 million. As we were told, we are yet to see the evidence to that effect other than the structure, and that structure now is being questioned. So until we see the breakdown, we are providing the breakdown here, and there are many people who can do this. You see, in one small breakdown, SUMA staff, we assume say 3.6 million now in the spend on the staff, about 50 of them. They assume say about 50 of them, and we refer to them as generally foreign staff. And so now say foreign workman, then it can be, how you call them, expatriates. So their own cost for run them or forget them, it can be more than the other people and like the local staff. So about 50 approximately workman them for SUMA, expert them, we put them at $3,000 per month. That's on average. Monthly is $150. I say 150, pardon me, 150,000. So for 24 months, what they use for complete the project, we put and say equal amount to $3.6 million. This is the total sum of wage paid to the 50 foreign workmen that we can work, where approximately they were being paid, as per we estimate, $3,000 per month on average. So when you compare down there with 150,000 in the 24 months, we then work for the country, for build the airport, for where they use for complete the project, the total came to $3.6 million. Labor on the Sierra Leonean side, in other words, we local staff, we get this figure of almost 3.5 million, because we assume say again back, the SUMA company will be responsible for the airport, still responsible for the airport, then build them, now then they run them. They employed over 300 Sierra Leonean staff. And we also put the cost for the Sierra Leonean staff as per individual at 1 million leons. Pardon me, and these are the old leons. The old leons now we use as per 1 million. This 1 million, it give we a total of 300,000. Okay, 300,000 old leons per month, and 7,200,000. 7,200,000 for 24 months to complete. In this case, this is where the conflict can arise. They use old leons, and the people that will construct the report, they then go to length. I make a report we say we go release to the general public at the appropriate time, so that you lay hands on them. Because imagine you get for compare the cost of old leons, therefore convert this to that, from that to dollar, and then the amount of people that we work, distinguish between local and expats, the payment difference, factor that, multiply them. Anyway, on with Sierra Leonean side, for the 24 months that the project lasted for letting complete the project with approximately Sierra Leonean staff, local staff, employed by SUMA company, we say roughly the salary came about $3.5 million. About $3.5 million. So the total now will be $18,198,571. So which I want for them not forget, remember say the earlier cost where we do with other material, then this now the baggage carousel, computer system, iron rod, and you name it, plumbing, electrical cables, etc., it amounted to just under 17 million, 16,801,250 dollar. In this last one, the subtotal came to 18,198,571. Now, the way the report was compiled, it compiled between, it tried to distinguish between the project in own cost as per the work done, not by Suma Brothers in this sense. Remember that the idea behind this project, and they talk about this report now that I am dealing with, is for Shose or for ask question whether really 270 million was spent. So as per the estimate, where we say our estimate as soon as I can see now, it's just roughly about $35 million, slightly less. So provision for any underestimate or cost, keep in mind, please take a look at the last three sections of this table. Estimated cost, we don't do the rough estimate them, approximate estimates. We don't get 18 million, we don't get 16 million. So we say we estimated cost amount to 34 million or 34,999,821 dollar. On top of this, provision is being made on the estimate that will have occurred in terms of the compilation and work done for bring this report into reality, so that there won't be any ifs and buts. So what this report also factor is 100% of estimate and cost, 34,999,821. Total, waiting this mean is with the estimate as per this report, as per this conversation that we have now, with the estimate say the cost plus the provision for any underestimate or cost center, it amounts to 69,999,642. So if we now look at the two costs, this one, which is the estimated cost from then two table, and the way we read table 1A and table 1B, this now the cost we give it 34,999,000. We double that amount there on the basis for any underestimate. You don't want to see this? Double the cost. Not to provide a quarter of the initial. No, it would double cost. Again, for lay aside the questions or doubting Thomas's the perception. And at that give we 69,999,642. And I will end on this note until tomorrow. As una don't see from table 1A and B, what we do an extensive research for come up with the best estimated cost for every cost center where we able to identify. We also do this together with the approximate size of the airport, as I tell you earlier. Professional people, this is what they do. They don't need for the way they construct the airport. They can come and look at the map. They can come and look at the architecture, the drawings, and they can cost them. And furthermore, they can become even closer to the point if they visit the physical structure and able to talk to the foreman, them, the contractor, them, how many stone we lay under, how many iron rod we put under, or they get the figure before them. The figure before them, so they're able to determine. So it is on this basis that they'll be able to put together the approximate size of the airport. After they don't do the desktop research of all the prices, then take an erudite approach, a constructive approach in approximating the cost. And that cost there from table 1B, the best estimated initial investment cost, the best Fambulen, now 34,999,821 million dollar. Now, for allow any underestimate, I just repeat this for effect because that's what I just said. Then also factor another $34,999,821 million. In other words, then double the cost. The cost has been doubled. Just in case people is no, yeah, well, cement, yeah, have been 300,000. Where of course it not been 300,000. So make it 300,000. So you see, doubling the cost. For allow for any underestimate or any cost which probably may not have been included or we miss. Now it make the thoughts it occurs say, well, let we double this cost. It only makes sense. And waiting this amount to is like 100% of the best estimate initial investment cost. As a result of adding the provision for any underestimate or any other cost center, which may probably have not been included, the best estimated initial investment cost, waiting this report come up with is a total estimated cost, investment cost of $69,999,000 and $642. What in this figure mean is that would have been the cost for this airport, which means that there is 200 million short. I will left una on this basis for today, but the report still continue and we will continue most likely tomorrow. So keep an eye out. Let's make this interesting. We don't spend about 1 hour and 50 minutes. I think with this kind of a report, good for like give people in time for absorber. Okay. It really good for like give people in time to absorb a report of this magnitude because a complex, full of figures, and there is so much more for let you absorb them. Okay, there's so much more for let you absorb, so much more for let yourself go sit down and try for figure out. So on this note, I want for Leona join me again tomorrow, or most likely, yes, I think I the planner for tomorrow. Let's see. Let me take one last comment. 270 million for repair a runway. Na real rip off to the nation. Thinking of giving part of land to foreigners for even 5 years, not a problem. Yes, Mr. Mohamed Turia, I agree with you, sentiment expressed, and we will come to this at the report towards the end, and conclusion or advice or proposals will be made. But for now, this is what you will get for Una. Don't forget for tuning and help for continue for Shebam, because you get some people in a watch, they can't watch, but then go like for watch them later. So please help me for share this program. In behalf of the then and now, until we see again, I believe very shortly, you take care. God bless you and God bless the country. Thanks for watching. Good night.